Hey, what's going on, guys? We're back with the next part of our Learning C# tutorial series, and today we're going to go ahead and um, we're going to move into something that's not really for game design, but more for an editor perspective. So it's something that'll help you along with your game design, not necessarily that will go and be compiled into the game. And this will be our first editor script. And what editor scripts are is if we add them to a new folder that is called editor, Unity will compile them in such a way that they will be not compiled into the actual game code, but used instead for within the Unity editor. So we're going to call this our save editor, and we're going to be using, instead of Unity Engine, we're going to be using Unity Editor, and also using Unity Engine. We're going to make a public class save editor, and we're going to inherit from editor. Okay. Next, we're going to make a static void. In fact, we're going to make this a public static class, and we're going to make a static void, and we're going to call this clear all preferences. And in this method, we're going to go ahead and do, it's very simple, PlayerPrefs dot delete all. Okay, and then in here we're gonna add it to the menu. This is also relatively easy. We're gonna make a new menu item, taking in the item name, and then here's all the other things we can go ahead and go in here. We're gonna just stick with the item name, and so we're gonna call this we'll call it save editor, and then we'll do delete all save data. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and we're going to make this delete save data for selected missions. And what we're going to do is for every mission that we have selected in the editor, we're going to only delete those missions. So we're going to do a for each game object go in selection dot game objects, and we're going to do an mission m equals go dot get component mission. Next we'll do if m does not equal null, so if they do have a mission component, then we're going to go ahead and do PlayerPrefs dot delete key, and then we called it mission plus that m dot name. And otherwise, you guys could notice, instead of doing a delete key here, we can do a set string and then just set it to locked. However, that will do the same thing as setting it to locked, because it should default to locked anyways. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and test this out. We'll go ahead and let it compile. And I forgot, we do actually need to make this, make this a non-static class. You'll notice it went away because it moved away from our C# project into our editor project, which was recently added. This is, like I said, it is compiled in such a different way, it's not even in the same project. It's in the editor project. Let it recompile. It's giving us an error. Let's see here. Oh, and that's just because I called this the same thing. We'll call this clear selected missions. Okay, now if we let it recompile, give it a second, And we should get, there we go. We have a new window called save, or not new window, new toolbar, tool item called delete all save data and delete save data for selected missions. So I actually left off where our tutorial mission is completed and we have not attempted to beat the lousy neighbor mission. So I'm going to go ahead and delete all the save data, hit play again, and there you go, we're back to our tutorial mission. And then just to show you the other one works as well, we're going to go ahead and, I forgot, I still need to calculate this guy, get him, and now we're here. Let's go ahead and stop this. You can check and see that it is saved. Now let's go ahead and clear the save data for selected missions. We're going to go ahead and clear the data for the training mission. Okay? And now our training mission is back, and that's how it works, folks. So obviously it doesn't lock back up the same missions that were locked from here, because they could be unlocked from different paths. So let's say, two different missions, one of them or both of them unlock a certain mission. You don't want to, if you remove one, you should also not remove what you unlocked from it. So now we've got our system working the way it should. Obviously this is just for use within the editor. We don't need to do any of that sort of stuff within the game itself. This is just for testing purposes. So it was a quick one, but just a little quick rundown of the editor utilities. Hey, what's going on, guys? We're back with the next part of our Learning C# tutorial series, and today's going to be a quick one. As you can see, I've gone and created this new scene here, and there's a couple new things that I want to talk about. This is going to be our neighbor scene, but before I explain what we're going to do with this scene, I'm going to explain some of the newer assets I imported in. So as you can see, our house is no longer 3D. In the other scene it is still 3D because I didn't get around to changing it, but now I made it a 2D texture, and I actually went ahead and textured it, which is nice because I just took the render from the 3D asset. As you can see by this, it looks 3D by this curve, or by the orientation here. However, it is actually a 2D image. And obviously I put on some textures, cut out the windows, etc. Then we have a speaker here because I don't know if any of you guys got to read the actual description, but it's a guy complaining about his neighbor being super loud. So we're going to have this speaker animated, and this guy's going to be dancing eventually, and then maybe another house off to the side with the guy, getting angry or trying to sleep, something along those lines. So before we do that, though, I'm going to go ahead and load up our world map scene. I'm going to go ahead and select the lousy neighbor and change this. Okay, it's already set to neighbor. And then I guess we'll have to go ahead and actually add him to the build settings. And next thing I want to do is I want to cover, we had this problem last time of how this is too small, not big enough space to cover the amount of text we want. So instead of having this little pop-up to the right, we're going to make a pop-up cover the entire screen. So I'm going to stop playing here, and let's go ahead and go to our world map manager. I think it was in the script. Oh, here it is, yeah, on GUI. And then here we have all the stuff, and pretty much what we're going to do is first we need to change this begin area. We'll do this begin area 50 units from the right. We'll do screen.height, or rather we'll just do 50 units from the top, and then for the width we'll do screen.width minus 100, so it's 50 units from the right as well, and then screen.height minus 100, so it's 100 units from the bottom. And now we'll have a rectangle that is 50 units from the edge of the screen in every direction. Okay, we have the name, the description, and we still have our button here. Next thing I want to do is, well, we'll check it out first and see. Maybe drawing a box around it so it's not just a random, thing here in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and actually beat this real quickly, just so we can go ahead and 103 and 145. And I missed. Okay. There we go. And the animation put in the wrong way, actually. But now you'll see we do have more space. However, it's not a multi-line label. So let's go ahead and we're gonna fix this, and also we're gonna draw a box around that GUI. I'm thinking that would be a good idea. There was something else I wanted to talk about. Let me think. Oh, that's right. I remember now. The reason why we were having this multi-line sort of thing is because we're using the GUI layout.label, and it'll want it to carry on within the same line. If we use the GUI dot just GUI.label, which is different, we can pass in its own separate rectangle, and then that rectangle, depending on how high or how much height it has, will also determine whether it can be how many lines or not. One other thing I'm going to check out before I go ahead and do that, though, is if I go to our description style, let's go ahead and check word wrap. And nope, I was going to see if they had a multi-line variable, but as long as we do a word wrap, it should be fine. So here are full descriptions now displayed. Hey, mister, I have a job for you. A neighbor's so loud tonight, even when I ask him to shut the hell up, he must be removed from the face of the earth. Start mission. And then we can go ahead, we have our speaker. It's a little fast, I'll go ahead and fix that up soon. We have our new wind of 26.68, which I'll cast to an integer actually, and our 14 for the height, so we'll go ahead and make it 14, and then 26.8. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and actually fix that integer casting in our overlay manager. Just cast it to an integer the same way we did for a height adjust. And then the next thing I want to do is I'm just going to load up this. For some reason he's playing his animation in the wrong direction. Sometimes it's weird because I'll load up Maya and then do some changes, and then Unity will recompile it, but it will recompile it differently for some reason. And it will lead it to do strange things. I've had it like mess up rotations before. I've had it do a whole bunch of strange stuff. But hopefully, let me go ahead and give this a go. Whoops. There we go. And then we've won. So, now this is something I haven't implemented, but something we might want to keep in mind is if we go to our cutouts, we have these two new sprites for special missions and cinematics, which we might go ahead and think about adding in the near future. But first, we're going to go ahead and flesh out this neighbor mission, just so we can think of probably some animation programming, some sound as well, some mapping sounds to animations. And then maybe we'll go into some things like main menu sounds, just so we can get closer to a full game.